Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, Yahushai being the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to our apostles, honor to our elders, a great millstone, and taught us truth and will well. Citation to hopefully person's truth and honesty, sincerity. This is Brother Yawasop, coaching all lessons to Spirit Power, help us from Shai. It's a quick in-transit lesson through the Spirit, man, inspired by seeing this AI video that was made by this by a brother on TikTok, Salaki. His name is a little bit cut off on the video clip that I'm re-recording, reposting, but I think you can see the full name of it if you want to go check out his channel. But it's a spirit that, man, that this is coming out, man, because brothers was just going into, you know, the deliverance and the UFOs and the chariots, and we was just speaking on Simeon Toko, you know, and then now this video comes out. I don't know if this guy's knowledge of the truth or not. Okay, I'm not sure, but you know, this is spiritual because this is the spirit of Jake resonating and beginning to pick up on the frequency of what's supposed to be and what is. Okay, the quote-unquote UFOs are piloted by the angels of the Heavenly Father. All right, those are the actual angels, and they're in the Bible. They reference to them. They don't call them UFOs. They're referenced as chariots, and the specific chariots I'm talking about that's in the scriptures are the ones that refer to as Ezekiel's wheel and things that the prophets saw physically with their very eyes of certain vehicles in the sky. And when you pay attention to the description, you know, especially in Ezekiel, it says a wheel within a middle of a wheel. Salaki, tongue twisted. A wheel within the middle of a wheel, and it said their wings were joined one together on all sides. Well, that makes a circle. So you have flying saucers that are found within the scriptures, man. You know, and I just shared that clip Apostle Dahar spoke on, and other brothers spoke on Simeon Toko. All right, which we believe through the Spirit that was an angel manifested in the flesh, because you have angels that have a lot of different employments, man. Their employments are for the Lord. They work really hard, man. You know, they're constantly reporting. They're sometimes they're there for a testimony. They can just be an example of the miracles and the power of the Heavenly Father Himself. So sometimes He sends physical, tangible examples that you can actually grasp with your hand, if you could. You know, people actually laid hands on Simeon Toko, man, and he laid hands on other people and healed. You know, and he was unalived because the cabal wanted him dead. You know, because of the power shift that it would take to focus off of Esau, Edom, and his rulerships and all these different empires, these kingdoms. They're scared in things that they cannot control. Okay, and some of them get so over inflated with their pride and their ego that they forget that there's an actual higher power that's controlling all this. So they look at themselves as being the physical God on this planet, you know, and so they want everyone to continue to fear them instead of the Lord and worship them, because once these people catch on that there actually is a higher power, that He does exist. That's what His name means. He exists. Yahweh. Yahweh, man. Once people actually find out that He is real, then what respect would they have for these leaders? You know? And everything that they've been taught will start to become a lie. You know? And they'll start to see, I mean, the curtain's already lifted on this devil, man. The Epstein files, like I keep mentioning those, they by them putting a lot of public light on that, really showed you the true nature of who these people really are. Esau, Edom, these so-called white people, man, and these elites that's ruling all these countries, these world superpowers, because all them people were involved in that stuff. They cannot afford for people to lose fear of them. Okay, but it's happening now, man, and all their lies are being debunked. Like, nobody's fucking buying the bullshit that they're pushing with NASA right now. Which, by the way, when you look up NASA, I believe NASA is actually a Greek word. It means to deceive. So the whole purpose of NASA is a mental psyop to get the people into pouring their more hearts and trust in this damn devil, Esau, Edom, and is trusting in his power and his rulership. Say, oh, he's such a great man because he has the technology and the capabilities to fly to the moon. Who can stop this guy? He's a truly world superpower. You know, it's dumb, man. But now, because of the, you know, back when they first started talking about UFOs in the news, that was back like in the 50s, 60s, early 70s. All right, you had actual sightings all over the Washington D.C., all over the White House, where they point to where the government thought everybody was getting invaded, and they kind of just swept that under the rug. But the best way they had to report on it was putting it in a newspaper. You know, it's black and white newspaper. Who can really see the details back then? But now, see, there's a time and a place for everything. Now, the chariots are resurfacing and making themselves visible more again than back then. And now you have cell phones. Okay? You have video recording technology. You got 4K. You got 8K. High definition. So now everybody is physically being able to get close-ups on these things. And they're zooming in on them. They're seeing the colors, the shapes. You know? And but your everyday average person doesn't have the telescope capabilities and technology as Esau Edom does. So a lot of the stuff is, you know, hard to focus in because it's hard when you're trying to zoom in on something in the sky. The camera's real shaky because it's sensitive. Every little shaky movement of your muscles and your hand twitching, you'll jump the whole footage off, you know. So it's hard. So unless you have high power telescope, you can't really see what's flying these things. But Esau Edom, he's got them, man. He's got that tech. Because I was talking to one of my seeds teachers. She told me that her husband that passed away was he was in the military. Actually, I think she said it was her son that told the story. Yeah, it was her son that was active duty for like over 20 plus years, and his particular job dealt with like satellites, watching satellites and watching the camera footage, high powered telescopic cameras that are mounted onto planes, okay, and different satellites. And he said he's seen things like from all the way damn near from space. They were able to zoom in so powerful to where a guy driving the car, they can see what time it is on his watch. So they can see, you know, who's flying these things, and it terrifies them because the testimonies came out. One of the NASA guys came out, old dude, he's probably dead now. He said that he saw beings getting off the ship, and he said they were black men. They were black and they were tall, like 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet tall. Okay, and that's one testimony. Another person said the same thing when they reported in Puerto Rico. They seen I guess one land, and they see the men getting off, and they said they had afros, and some of them look, you know, black and Hispanic or native. They had dark skin, afros. Okay, and I remember at the Thanksgiving football game, I think it was back in like 2017, 2018. Somewhere around there. Yeah, I think it was like 2018. They had it was Cowboys versus Redskins game, and there was like a unexplained being in the crowd, man. It was an angel that had white woolly hair, big white woolly beard. Elder Bakwasha down in the Houston camp caught it on camera and did a lesson, reported on it. And I, you know, shared that video and re-uploaded and did a couple lessons off of that. You know, so the scriptures talk about how, you know, when Yahushua, even when he ascended up to heaven, that there were two men standing on either side up in the sky. So the angels, they actually look like men. They don't look like grays, man. That's some bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, the scriptures also account that when the angels appeared, they were terrifying, and you have men that hit the floor bowing down. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past that they have a different look to them. Some of them can shape-shift probably, because they're not men. These are celestial creatures, man. They can do, you know, they have the power to do whatever they need to do, because they are directly of the hand of the Yahweh himself and Yahushua. So yeah, they can make themselves to look like a horror movie creature, but for the most part, when you read the account of scriptures, even like when the donkey, it's like I'm driving, man, I wish I could pull that preset, but brothers can probably paste it on the comment board. I'm driving, so like it. But yeah, that preset where the donkey, you know, was getting hit by his owner, and he stopped in the middle of the road. And you know, and the guy kept beating him to get him to go. And then the donkey finally spoke. Like the Lord gave him the ability to speak to where the man could hear. And he said, "Hey, why are you hitting me? He roughly paraphrasing. He said, and there was an angel in the mist that was blocking the road, man, standing there. It was a man there. You know, he's like, don't you see this angel? And the angel had a sword in his hand. He was getting ready to smite him, man. You know, so the point is, angels, they look like men, and more important, they look like so-called black men, or I would say the so-called Israelite man, so-called black, so-called Latino, so-called natives. You know, dark, melanated skinned men that are flying these things, man. And it would make sense that they would look like that because of, you know, the Lord said He created us in His image. So obviously He takes His image to a high regard, man. Why would He not create the angels to kind of look like Him too? And the scriptures also talk about how, you know, men on this earth are angels in chains of darkness. You know, so ultimately one day in the kingdom, when Yahushua comes back, we gonna be flying them ships, man. That's why the Lord put the spirit on this man, whoever made this AI footage. This is what's gonna be reality. This isn't no sci-fi music video. Okay? Brothers is gonna have these in their garages, and your garage is gonna be attached to a castle. It ain't gonna be no suburban white neighborhood like you see in this video. You know, like his house, he had the chariot in the garage. Yeah, we're gonna have houses like that when Yahushua comes back, man. You're gonna have mansions. You're gonna have your own private beaches, man. You're gonna have, like, I want a fucking dope ass cabin made out of golden sandalwood in the fucking mountains, bro. At the top of the mountains, overlooking like a crystal clear, see-through lake. You know, that's what we're gonna have, man. That's our reward for the kingdom, man. We're gonna have wheel within the wheel, flying, taking off, man. Fuck a Rolls Royce, fuck a Bentley. Don't get me wrong, I like both of those cars. They dope as hell, but they ain't worth no goddamn $1 million. I ain't tell you that fucking much. $500,000 car, ain't doing that. Hey, we're gonna get a chariot that's gonna be priceless, man. You know, we want the real reward, and that's what comes from serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua and believing in faith diligently, man. So this reward that we're trying to work towards is going to be well worth it in the long run. You just got to have patience and hold on, man. You know, seeing this should amp you up, amp your spirit up. Like, damn, man. Because, you know, because we preach about these things, about how we're going to have chariots in the kingdom come, and, you know, the miracles are going to return. The brother's going to have abilities, man. Our women going to be right. You know, we talk about all these things, so it's nice, you know, for the Lord to kind of giving us a prelude, a little smidgen of a taste of what's to come, to physically see with your eyes, man. This is a faith boost to help boost up brothers, man. You know, because hey, this is how we live right now in this flesh. We in these worldly clothes we got on, man. Like, you know, Jake got the street clothes on in the video. You know, so we can relate to it. Because so many years, man, we're tired of seeing all these fucking superheroes looking like Esau, Edomites, man. Got Superman white as hell. You know? Hey, the real Superman is Jake. You know? So-called black, so-called Latino, so-called Native American man. You know, and you Israelite foreigners, you included in that too. Because you got some Jake that look like so-called white man. It ain't about a skin color type thing. But you get what I'm saying, man. The image that's been portrayed of power for too fucking long is this damn dirty ass heathenistic Edomite devil, man. White man devil. You know? Real power belongs to us. We're the ones that got the strength, got the talent, got all of the athleticism. So this looks better on us than it does them. And it's gonna feel better on us too when we get to wear this royalty. You know, so Lord's will, this lesson's edifying and kind of motivating. A little bit of boost in transit, short, quick one. But I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us truth and will well. The citation to you, hopefully, this was truth and honesty, sincerity. Shalom.